Hi everyone, back again with the fourth part of the essay, examine the concept that free will is curtailed by volition. So a little reminder that the word concept means idea, that free will means is curtailed, means free will is lessened or reduced, and volition means a person's will. We started off by looking at an introductory paragraph, which is in front of you on the screen there. Then we moved on to the religious point that your will comes from God, and as such is caused and controlled, and therefore it reduces your freedom. The next idea was from science, the idea that your will comes from your biology or your genetics, which again reduces your freedom because it's caused, part of universal causation, again fitting in with the idea of hard determinism. So your will is determined and part of universal causation. And we're going to move on now to look at the idea that your environment can also cause and control your will. Now, the work of Bandura can be used to support this idea. So again, I'm just going to read through this particular paragraph and then see how it responds to the question, does our will make us less free? Okay, so here we go. Bandura, who believes that human behavior and the will is learned from the environment around us. Okay, so our behavior and our will, it's learned from our environment. Society should take responsibility for the way its people behave. He would strongly agree with the saying, children see, children do, as he performed a number of experiments to prove just that. This is best illustrated by his Bobo doll experiment. Bandura set up an experiment with two viewing rooms. One set of children watched their parents in a room caring for and looking after an inflatable doll. They patted it on the head, hugged it, kissed it, etc. The parents then left the room and the children were invited in. Bandura watched the behaviour and was not surprised to see the children, all aged around 6, treating the doll with the same respect that their parents had shown it. The children copied their parents' behaviour. He then repeated the experiment with another set of parents and children, but this time the parents showed an aggressive attitude towards the doll, throwing it up in the air, punching it, kicking it, swearing at it, etc. And again, the children did the same thing. Okay. Now, from this, it is clear that a person's will internalizes the environment and experiences of youth. If our will is learned, as Bandura establishes from a psychological perspective, it would seem that the will is simply a result of universal causation, and therefore, as our actions are controlled by the will, then the will does indeed reduce our freedom. So it's basically saying that people learn the behavior from their environment. Now, just like the children learn to be violent by copying the parents and learn to be kind by copying the parents, society as a whole does the same. So we copy the behavior of our parents or teachers or peers or whatever, and they go inside us and form our will. And this is what makes us behave in a certain way. So our will is caused by our environment. Okay, so ultimately what happens is our will is simply a result of everything that's gone before, everything we've witnessed, everything we've seen. So again, it's caused by our environment. Now, just like how genetics and biology causes us to behave in a certain way, what we see, what we witness, what we experience through our lives does exactly the same. It causes us to have certain beliefs, have certain feelings, act in a certain way, develop a will in a certain way. So because our will is created by environment, we don't have control over our environment. Therefore, our will has been caused by our environment, and it does reduce our freedom. So we are violent because our parents are violent. We are well-mannered, polite, etc., because our friends and family are. So our will is caused, is developed by our experiences, our environment, and all these various factors that occur through our lives. And as a result of this, our will is caused by all of this, and it reduces our freedom because we don't have control over our environment. If to take this a bit further, we've got the next paragraph there. An adaptation of Freud's idea of the superego can be used to support the idea of Bandura, that correct behavior is implanted in us when we are young. For Freud, the will, like the conscience then, is simply a construct of the mind. In religious people, this would be in response to perceptions of God, and in non-religious people, it would be their responses to the externally imposed authority. Freud did not believe in any absolute moral law and held that all our moral codes, and thus the content of our consciences, are shaped by our experiences. They are culturally dependent, and this explains the varieties of moral codes that are to be found in different societies. So Freud, like Bandura, thought that we internalize the behavior of our parents, peers, teachers, environment, etc., and then that caused us to act in a certain way. It creates our will for when we are older. And that explains why different people in different cultures have different rules, because they have different environments in which they're brought up in. Look there, the bit in italics to link back the question. The superego acts as our will, and our actions are a result of internalizing the influence of authority figures. So we've copied and learned our beliefs from authority figures such as our parents, teachers, peers. Again, from this psychological perspective, it is clear that the will is reducing our freedom as our behavior is caused by almost infinite factors outside our control. Now, again, this is all supporting the idea ultimately of hard determinism. So if we take environment, we just looked at the last paragraph, we take science, biology, genetics, if we take God, it can see that all these things causing the will are limiting our freedom. Now, because the will is created, is caused by all of these things, from this perspective, it's clear that the will is acting, is restricting our freedom. Because, from like the hard determinism point of view, it is all of that is part of universal causation. It's part of cause and effect. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I'm just going to sum up those in this next paragraph here, those few beliefs we've looked at. Okay, so as I've just said, the theories above, particularly when combined, seem to give a powerful argument that volition curtails their freedom. So volition, being created by either God, science, or environment, is curtailing people's freedom. It's reducing the freedom because it's part of universal causation. However, Kant's version of compatibilism can offer an account which rejects the view the will curtails a person's freedom. So Kant here is going to offer a different way forward, right? And his version of soft determinism is going to say that actually the will can be used to increase our freedom. So the next part of the essay is going to be going against the first part, which says that the will reduces our freedom. This is going to look and say, actually, the will, the volition, can make us more free. Now, this is a key point of what Kant says, the next bit I'm about to read here. Kant believed that although we are influenced by our background, genes, and so on, but that we are not wholly determined by them. We can escape the chain of cause and effect, universal causation, desires, emotions, environment, peers, God, argues Kant, by applying reason to our decisions and making real choices. In a sense, we transcend our determined past, we stand outside our choices and do the right thing. We are the first causes of our actions due to using our mind and will. As such, the will does not curtail our freedom, but increases it. So the next bit is Kant saying, look, we are going to step outside our background and be able to make a free choice. Okay, that was quite a long video there. I hope it makes sense. I hope it didn't go on too much. Again, any questions at STM_RE, or again, grab me at school. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye-bye.